Live? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the June 23rd, 2023 regular meeting of the THS Board of Directors. I'm Michael English, and I'm the president of the board. The meeting is a hybrid. Quorum is not physically present today, so we will treat this as a workshop and not undertake any action items. Please join me in a Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
The United States
To the republic.
to the republic
One nation.
stands
Under God.
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The roll call, please.
President English,
Present.
Director Ahern,
Present.
Director Hardy,
Present.
By George,
Director
we have a
Johnson?
quorum.
Director Johnson,
Here.
Director Maniscalco,
Here.
Director
Thank you.
Mechanic,
Here.
Director Schisler, Director Williams. You do have a quorum.
Excellent. The next item on our agenda is to welcome our newest board member, Tampa City Council member Guido Maniscalco. Hi, it's nice to have you with us. Just briefly, we know you were born and raised in Tampa as the son of Cuban and Italian immigrants. You attended Tampa Catholic, HCC, and the University of South Florida with a degree in English. You've also served as chairman of the Tampa City Council, president of the McFarland Park Neighborhood Association, a member of the City of Tampa Code Enforcement Board and Hillsborough County Human Rights Council, and currently serve as trustee chair of the Sons of Italy Lodge. You also serve on many different boards and councils throughout the community, including those regarding arts and transportation. Welcome, and thank you so much for participating with the THS board.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to say anything else?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Great, we're glad to have you. Public input. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to be heard? Okay. Mr. Johnson has a pressing need to depart and prepare for an important meeting with the governor of the state of Florida tomorrow morning. So I'd like to move to the action items first, and we'll go back to everything else. That would mean we will skip we're not voting on the budget today, but we can hear that later. The first action item would be 6A, 2023 Winter Village Express Service.
I think we have to go to the minutes. Minutes. The minutes from the last meeting.
I motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Thank you. So Winter Village Express, Rachel? We're seeing too much of each other, Rachel.
I know, I've seen you guys quite a bit the last couple of days. So thanks everybody for seeing us. My name is Rachel. I'm with the Tampa Downtown Partnership.
Oh, thank you. All right. Again, in case you didn't hear me, I'm quite loud, but my name is Rachel Radowick. I'm with the Tampa Downtown Partnership, and we are really excited for the 7th year to be in front of you guys again to ask for your support of our Winter Village Express program. For those of you who might not be familiar, Winter Village Tampa is a program that takes place in Curtis Hickson Park the Friday before Thanksgiving and runs through the new year. It brings an outdoor ice skating on real ice to the park, along with a 360-degree light show, semi-permanent storefronts along the riverfront, food and beverage, curling, igloo lounges, and a lot of holiday memories for families. The second year of Winter Village, we decided to expand outside of the footprint and incorporate the historic streetcar into our programming, where on Sundays from kickoff until the Sunday before Christmas, we offer the Winter Village Express. That is a dedicated chartered streetcar that runs on an express route from Whiting Street into Ybor and returns back. On board, you have 2 local performers, Bob and Gretchen, who are lost snowbirds who have found their way onto the streetcar. They perform trivia, sing-along, snowball fights, and offer milk and cookies to families on board. You guys have always historically supported the program through a portion of the charter and then also the labor and cost that goes into the wrap of the streetcar because it is in itself branded Winter Village Express with interior street cards as well. The streetcar is not in circulation during that duration of time, but following the Sunday before Christmas is put into regular circulation with all the decor on it as well. Are there any questions about the program? I'd like to also mention it is a $10 ticket that we have for the onboard, which is still one of the most affordable holiday experiences out there, other than the free lights that you can come and see in the park. And we do sell out every single year. It is a pre-purchased ticket online.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, we obviously, the streetcar is currently free for riders to get on at any time. And you are running during hours that we operate.
Correct.
Would there be any sense, do we need to charge quite that, the rental fee?
Why are you charging $10 a pop?
Just kind of to control crowd control. We had a lot of customer service. The very first 2 years, I believe, we were completely free for service, but you have a lot of disappointed faces when they can't get on the streetcar. So by having a ticketed cost, it ensures that people show up and we aren't sending the streetcar away without individuals on it or by turning people away.
It makes sense. I think it makes sense. And it's a special event, basically.
And I believe Brian can help me out a little bit about the circulation and the routes. We usually leave about 3:30 and the last one leaves at about 7:30. I know the time duration of the streetcars has changed since last year, so there might be some difference in ours, but I don't know if we take away a vehicle or if we're an added vehicle on.
To run this service, I'll have to drop the fifth car on Sunday because there's just too much traffic out there for this. So I'd use the same crewman that would normally run the fifth car to run the Winter Village.
Okay.
Okay.
Other than that, you have no problem with it, Brian? Okay.
No, it's now with the fifth car, it's easier to staff. So
And Connie has been our motor woman the last couple of years. We truly love her.
Yeah, she's great. So, and our contribution remains the same?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions from board members?
Just that I think it's a great event, and I love that it continues to evolve each year and get bigger and stronger and more interest. I know it came with a starting idea that mimicked something that's down, an hour or so away of here. So to be able to bring that closer to families, I think is really helpful. So thank you.
And we've really kind of enhanced the program over the years, and we continue to grow. One of the new things that we would look to do, depending on our budgets for this year, is to incorporate some larger branding footprints within the stops themselves, specifically at Whiting, since that's the starting point. Lori has been great and has sent me over all the packages in the past, so we look to kind of enhance that branding as we move forward, because I think that's the one piece that we've always kind of missed.
Okay, great. Any other questions? If not, may I have a motion, please?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We have a resolution to approve as well. Resolution R 2023-0603, authorization to offer Winter Village
You guys.
Express on those Sundays. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
You guys said so many numbers, but thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Welcome,
it, guys.
Rachel. Okay. 6B, the next item is Resolution R 2023-0604, authorizing execution of the Second Amendment to the Station Sponsorship Agreement between Publix, Tampa Historic Streetcar, the City of Tampa, and HART, allowing Publix to sponsor the Tico Line streetcar system stop by naming a station stop. Mr. Smoker, do you have anything to contribute?
Yes, very briefly. This is an extension of what's been a fairly long-term agreement that we've had with Publix. If you'll recall, several years ago, we extended the agreement and allowed for 2 optional additional terms under the same price that we had previously approved. We're again proposing to extend that same agreement for another year and also give Publix the option to extend it for 2 additional years. Again, all at the same original price, and we would ask for your approval.
Any questions? We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Thank you all very much. Item 6C, Resolution R 2023-0605, authorizing execution of the amended operators agreement between THS and HART and the amended streetcar operations and maintenance plan. Mr. Smoker and I have met with HART and gone through. We didn't really have any big issues with it. David, anything you'd like to add?
Only that the agreement is being renewed and extended out for a 5-year term instead of just annual automatic renewals. And then thereafter, it will extend automatically each year unless amended by the parties. The basic tenor of the agreement is twofold. First, the actual operating agreement is being amended to essentially bring into conformity the actual practice that's evolved in terms of the operation of the streetcar since the original agreement was signed. Really pretty much non-substantive stuff. The second component of it is that there is an exhibit, which is the operational and maintenance plan, which is where the rubber really hits the road in terms of how the system is operated. And there have been similar kinds of changes made to that. But overall, really no significant substantive changes are being made.
Thank you. Any questions? It's a good-sized document, but it was all very straightforward, and it looked fine to me, too. So any other questions or comments?
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay. Resolutions are done. So let's move back to the presentation of the 2024 proposed budget. Justin Lafler. Please note that we've, Mr. Johnson had to leave. We've lost our quorum, so this is a workshop. Thank you.
Good afternoon, President English, members of the board, and Mr. Drainville. My name is Justin Lafler. I'm the Budgets and Grants Director. This presentation is on the proposed 2024 HART and Tampa Historic Streetcar budget. Since this is a preliminary budget being presented to you, changes can still be made, and based on discussions that we have here and with the City of Tampa and the CRAs. So our agenda will be to go over the project level of service, the projected level of service for 2024, the projected operating statistics, revenues and expenses for the HART related to the streetcar, revenues and expenses assumed by the THS, the combined HART and THS budget, and HART capital expenditures for the streetcar, and then finally, whatever our next steps will be. So this is our current service model. And
could you bend that microphone a little closer?
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
I'm tall and it sits pretty low. Is that better?
Yeah, they shouldn't allow tall people to present, I think.
Or maybe we need a better mic, right? Yeah. Put the mic on this chair. Sorry. This is our current service for the streetcar, and we project to carry out the same level of service for all of next year. Okay. Total service hours are projected at 25,192 hours. Here are our operating statistics. Like I said, 25,192 hours, 133,000 revenue miles, 1.6 million ridership is what we're projecting for next year. That's 69 hours of service per day and 4,562 riders per day. And the total cost of the service would be $164 an hour. The next two slides summarize the HART streetcar revenue and expenses. Of course, each budget presented is a balanced budget. So the expenses and the revenues are projected at $3,374,262. This includes an FDOT operating grant of $800,000, an FTA grant of $200,000, advertising of $115,000, A little bit of money from special events, contributions from the TIF of $755,000, contributions from the City of Tampa at $531,000, and contributions from THS of $972,000. Here's our expenses, and you can see the previous year's budget and the actuals from 2022 for comparison. Our largest expense is salaries and wages at $2.2 million. Then fringe benefits at $625,000. Fuel and oil is projected at $8,000. Parts and supplies, $165,000. Contract services, $15,000. Marketing and printing, $53,000. Insurance, $80,000. Utilities at $194,000, and other expenses at $29,000. This is the THS operating budget. This information was received from the City of Tampa staff. The CSX insurance, $795,000. Attorney fees, $6,000. Accounting fees, $25,000. General liability insurance, $11,380. $0 for advertising fees. The contribution to HART to balance the budget, $972,762. Total expenses of $1.7 million. This slide shows both budgets combined. Total revenues and expenses are $4,132,453. This slide shows the full-time employee positions. One thing to note is that 2 road supervisors are used for the streetcar as a shared resources with operations, with the HART operations, and these are budgeted by HART's operations, so not in the THS budget. Our expected capital expenses, $1.2 million for vehicle maintenance and infrastructure maintenance of $135,000 for a total of $1.3 million. And lastly, our next steps. So July 19th, board discussion on the budget will continue. August 16th, the board will hopefully adopt the budgets. Then in September, there will be 2 public hearings, and the HART board will consider the fiscal year 2023 operating and capital budgets, which include the HART streetcar budget. Are there any questions for me?
Anyone have a question? Yes, please.
What did you say the date that we would be voting on the budget is?
I believe that's the August 16th date. Is it
Okay.
July? You want me to go back? Yeah, August 16th.
Yeah, we have a meeting in July, and I guess we're going to talk more about it if necessary, and then we have to adopt it in August. And HART, the HART board adopts it in
September.
And during that period, we will also go to the city council and ask for continued support for the special assessment district, which is all pretty typical. Staff went through it with me, and it looked fine, and I mean, it is kind of what it is. It's a little more expensive than last year, but the cost of living has gone up, and people need to be properly compensated, and so if there are no other questions.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Where are we accounting for the CRA funds?
CRA
in
funds,
there.
if we go back here for a second, in our operating revenues, we can, so the $755,000 is the City of Tampa contribution, the tax increment, so that is that $755,000. Is part of the 731, Laura, also from CRAs?
Number 2, City of Tampa contribution. This is Loretta. Can I help with that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, she can't hear you.
Okay, on page 7 of the, so to the chair, the board, and to Mr. Glanville, if you look on slide 7, where it says special Service District with the footnote 1. And you can see that that's the CRAs, Ybor City, Chandler-Side, and Downtown, in addition to other, Tampa core and non-core. But the special CRAs are in that line.
So the
Operating
SSD
revenue.
is referred to something else.
I'm sorry?
When it's not in relation to this budget, the SSD is considered what the partnership oversees. I could see how that would be a little bit of a confusing aspect.
The SSC doesn't oversee ours. We do.
Right. Okay. So we're referring that the CRAs fall within this SSD?
No, I don't think so.
They're calling it a special service district.
That's a special district. And then on slide 5, if I can footnote 2, where you have the City of Tampa agreement, $450,000 and $305,000 for local CRA contribution for free fares.
The Streetcar has a special services district. That's the special assessment that the Streetcar has had from the beginning.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Not the CRA money, though.
Right.
Correct.
Thanks, David. Okay. Any other questions? And if you don't now, but you wish to have them later, we've got more time to talk about it, too.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we're at the streetcar system performance report. Mr. Allen?
Good afternoon, President English, members of the board. Mr. Drainville, I have both April and May for us. In April, we had 58 missed trips out of the 4,268 trips that we were contracted to provide. Of those, 37 and a quarter were a shortage of operators, 16 and a half were due to mechanical issues, 2.25 was for an accident, and 2 trips for a vehicle stuck on the tracks blocking our way. That being said, we had 14 reported late departures. On-time performance was 99.66. The accident I spoke about on April 6th, Streetcar 428 struck a vehicle at 8th and 14th Street. Minor damage to both vehicles. There was one passenger who claimed injury in this and was taken to the hospital. The driver of the vehicle was cited for the accident. We didn't provide any extra service in April, and our ridership was 127,121. Of that, 170 were ADA boardings. And to give you a little context, last April was 104,826. So very sizable jump.
Yeah, big.
So, and then for May, excuse me, we had 28.75 missed trips out of the 4,402 contracted trips. Of those, 20 and 3/4 trips were due to mechanical issues and 8 trips due to a shortage of operators. On-time performance, we had 11 reported late departures, so on-time performance was 99.75. We had one accident, which is a little unusual for us. One of my employees ran a stop sign in one of our company vehicles and struck another car. He was cited in the accident. But this accident, just to be clear, did not involve any of our streetcars or revenue vehicles. Ridership, I'll have to report on next month. We're having our service development department is having a little issue with that, with the number. I do know that 116 ADA boardings happened in May. And then finally, I have 5 operators in class right now. One of them will graduate this Friday. The other 4 will graduate in the end of July. And this leaves me with 1 open operator position is the only thing open right now. So does anybody have any questions for me?
I don't think so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move to legal and legislative reports. Mr. Smoker?
Nothing to report.
Well, let me just say that Mr. Smoker and I have been pretty seriously involved in trying to come to grips with the CSX crossing premiums and have them reduced. We're still working hard at it with our insurance agent, but we've been meeting with the city and representatives from HART. So I'm really, really hoping that we're going to drive that number down, and we'll know. We don't have to wait till the end of the year to know that. I really want to know before this budget gets finally approved, if we possibly can. The other thing was that Bernie, you reached out to Mr. Shaw's legal counsel and didn't really get a reply.
Yeah, where we stand on that is they have proposed, instead of us, or HART, deeding the Bernie to Mr. Shaw's entity, they are now proposing that to enter into a lease agreement at some future date, once they know better exactly what the design of their building is that they want to house the Bernie. So we reviewed the lease agreement in draft form. It was acceptable. We have told Mr. Shaw's attorney that it's acceptable to us and asked him whether this was something he wanted to be presented to the THS board this month, or whether it was something that they felt they could wait on. And I have not heard back from him, so I'm assuming that they've concluded that it's something that they're going to wait on. And,
Sure.
I'll reach out to him again and find out if there's a timetable.
Yeah, let's check with them in a week or two and see if they want to show up, if it's acceptable, if they want to be here in July.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's the
I'm sorry.
What's the purpose of converting that to a lease? Did they explain what the rationale was?
I didn't understand your question, but
I think the question was, what was their rationale, or the rationale for converting to a lease agreement as opposed to deeding the Bernie to...
frankly, it was my idea for a couple of reasons. But the main reason is that disposing of equipment, transit equipment that has federal dollars involved, and while that Mr. Allen hasn't, I know previous streetcar directors did put federal money into the car, so it's complicated to give away or sell streetcars, and not so complicated to lease it for $1 a year for the same, forever, for the same length of time. So it in my mind, and Mr. Smoker agreed with me, it should reduce concerns from the HART board and certainly from HART staff and leadership that you don't have to get involved in the federal requirements of selling a piece of rolling stock. So it all made sense, and they were happy with that. Our only hang-up is that we really want the agreement to say enclosed air-conditioned space, and it sort of says that, and I think we're about ready to say okay, but we haven't heard back. My guess is also, I haven't asked, but that they're still designing things and trying to figure out how and where they have adequate space for the car. So we're in no rush, and that's apparently also true of them. So I don't really have a report other than what I've already told you. Mr. Granville, do you have a report today?
Yes. Good afternoon, President English, members of the board. So a few updates. So on Friday, June 9th, HART welcomed U.S. Congress Representatives Kathy Castor and Michael Quigley to the E-Boy Administrative Facility. Staff had a unique opportunity to update the representatives on HART's current and upcoming projects and initiatives, discuss grant opportunities to support the HM facility rebuild project, and upgrades to the HART bus transit infrastructure that were made possible due to the $5 million in community project funding secured by HART by Congresswoman Castor. Then the group took a brief tour of the streetcar facility, after which they enjoyed a ride on the actual streetcar. So it was a good day. And then regarding the FDOT funding for the fare-free streetcar service, HART submitted an application for the Community Assistance Program Rideshare Grant that will continue to cover in FY 2024 the $800,000 portion of the streetcar fare-free program expenditure. The purpose of the agreement is to provide community assistance funding to allow free fare-free service, and the grant will be applied through a TransSip as a discretionary fund. And then lastly, the CRA schedule. Annually, the TH Board representatives and HART staff request to appear before the the Channel District, and the EBOR CRAs, the annual streetcar report, and a request to continuation for their financial support of the system. The meetings have been scheduled for June 27th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. with the YCDC, and August 1st and 2nd from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. with the Downtown and Channel District CRAs. We would appreciate it if the THS board officer would attend these meetings as well to share the FY23 streetcar performance report and support the funding request.
And I think either I or Ms. Doringager will be, one of us will certainly be there. I'll try and be at all three.
Thank you. And that concludes my report.
That's great. Thank you. City of Tampa financial statements and marketing services report are not printed here, but I assume, Danielle, that they were in the electronic version you sent. So,
Yes, sir.
Take a look at those. If you have any questions next month, I would really like to see a marketing report every month. You might mention that to the marketing department.
I believe we do have a representative from marketing who can give you that report if necessary.
I don't think we need it I mean, I think we're fine, but.
Okay, it was included in the packet.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to old business. Is there any old business? Old business? Any new business? If not, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yes, and
Thank you.
Councilman, thank you so much for coming.
I'm glad to be here. I love the streetcar.
Good, good,
Enjoyed it for years. So
good.
I didn't want to turn down the opportunity.
No, I'm really glad you did. Yeah, I don't think we've ever really